So we do have a main event to get to, and we'll get to it. And little context for me. So I was in Santa Cruz yesterday, and we ended up at this dope like beachside bar in Capitola, fucking view of the water and everything. And I was watching the fights. It was dope. I didn't even expect to watch the fights. And literally as we like got our drinks delivered, the Ige Korean Zombie fight was like starting. They had it on the screen, and I
No
was like,
shit.
dope. Yeah, and it was cool because this other guy at the bar was like super into it. And we were like talking about the fights, and then the bartender was like, "Oh my god!" It was actually really hilarious. I could tell she was a Bill Burr fan because she was like, "Oh, thank God you guys are into it." I was worried some middle-aged white lady was gonna complain that her kids saw blood, and I was like, yeah, no, I was like, this paying customer is very satisfied right now. So
Yeah.
I was like, keep it on the screen,
Yeah, yeah. In fact, don't tell that bitch to fuck off.
yeah. So context here. The first time I watched this main event, I was pretty drunk, and I was watching it with subtitles, and I was at a bar. But I was watching it pretty close. But I was also eating the best fucking hot wings I've ever eaten in my life. They were so good.
Really?
Oh my God. And just, you can tell they were homemade. The sauce was homemade. They weren't like overly battered. Just, man, Knox Wingstop, Knox B-dubs, all that, just way out of the water. So fire. But yeah, I would shout them out. I honestly don't remember the name of the place. But dope place though. Great service, great food, had the fights on. I was happy. But anyway, so that was the first time watching it. And then I watched it again just like an hour, not even, yeah, probably about an hour ago, right before we started the podcast and I was 100% sober, and I was in my house watching it with sound. And so the reason why I emphasize that is that I had two very different takeaways from it. My first time watching it at the bar with no sound and being drunk, I thought Korean Zombie pretty much was pretty dominant, and it was a pretty one-sided, kind of boring fight. I rewatched it again this morning, stone cold sober, with the volume on, and I came away thinking that it was a very competitive fight.
So it's like I didn't think that it was like, man. So like
Like,
one
my
for
scorecard's going to be controversial. I disagree with the entire universe, not to the point of rolling out hills or anything, but round for round, I gave Ige a lot more credit than I think the general public did.
all right. Well, let's get into it because
Let's
how do you
get
see the
into it.
first? How do you see
So
the?
first off, Ige minus 150, eighth ranked featherweight fighting Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jun, plus 125 underdog, the
I was really
fourth ranked
surprised by that money
featherweight.
line, by the way.
I
Just
wasn't.
as a note.
I thought. I mean, you got to take into consideration age. Korean Zombie's 34 at this point, coming off the bad loss to Ortega. It was a 50-45, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then Ige also coming off a loss, but it's the Calvin Cater, and he looked. I mean, he's very dangerous. He's 28 years old, athletic prime. I understood the money line, to be honest, but however, I did on our last podcast predict. I took Korean Zombie. You took Ige. Just wanted to throw
True.
that out there. You're
True. I
not
mean,
wrong. Like I said, I'm kind of talking out both sides of my neck. Like I said, I understand. I took Zombie, but I understand.
well,
That
I feel
Ige
that
was
way
the
too
favorite.
because like I'm surprised by the money line, but I did think that Ige was going to have enough in the tank
And
enough
that's a
as a
pretty close
striking.
money line, bro. I mean, 150 and
Oh,
plus
super
125.
close, super close.
And also, I want to let's set the context. I think this fight had all the implications in the world. I think Korean Zombie loses this fight. That's 2 L's in a row. Like, he's in veteran gatekeeper mode from here on out. Essentially, he's out of contention, especially with how close and like convoluted the top three of this division is. So, and then if Ige wins this fight
Top
over
five.
Korean Zombie, I mean, he's a contender. Like, he's right up there in the mix. So I don't think that can be understated. I was actually super stoked on this main event. I was pretty down on the card, but I thought this was a great fight night. Like, this is what fight night main events are like for.
Yeah, that's what they're for. Is kind of deciding the up and down of the division at the crux behind like where the belts are.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. And I thought this was that embodied. So yeah, I guess let's get into the round by round because I think that's going to be super important for this one. And I guess let's kind of get into the controversy, as the British say. And so in round one, like I said, here start the spicy takery. I had it 10-9 Ige. It's not the spiciest it takes. I saw Twitter was kind of 2-1 Korean Zombie on round one. I think the commentators were favoring Korean Zombie in round one. I liked what Ige did. I thought that, especially watching it the second time, I liked Ige in round one both times watching it. I want that the record to know. Even last night, I still thought Ige round one, but then watching it again, I really think Ige round one won
Believe it or
round
not,
one.
I agree with you. I actually had Ige in round one as well.
Like he was hitting, and it kind of goes to like topics that we've covered tonight about or this podcast about how you wear shots is important. And when Ige was hitting Zombie, which is crazy because Zombie's known for taking crazy amounts of damage, but when Ige was hitting Zombie, you could tell Zombie wasn't liking it. They were very impactful strikes.
Well, and I thought Zombie was going for a lot of takedowns, considering the fact that he didn't like getting hit by Ige, which shows you that Ige has real power.
Yeah. And whenever Zombie did get Ige down, because Zombie did get a takedown in round one, which is probably why a lot of people gave him the round. But Ige was able to get up. Now, he didn't immediately, like, hit the mat and get up. Like, he was probably down for, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. But there wasn't a ton of damage. And he was able to get back up when it was all said and done. So, yeah, there was a positional change there. And it was a great takedown by Zombie. And I thought it was a smart takedown.
Definitely, it was a smart takedown, yeah.
But I don't think it's a round-winning takedown. And I'm willing to kind of stand on that, put my name on that. Like, I don't think it was a round-winning takedown.
I feel like the commentators were a little biased for Zombie as well.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, he's been in the company a long time. I think this was his 8th main event or something like that. Just a fan favorite. You know, there's a lot to like about Zombie. Like I said, I picked him. I was kind of rooting for him a little bit. How can you not love Dan Ige? You know, super likable guy. That's what's so great about the sport. But
and best nickname in the biz.
Yeah, 50K Ige for sure. And then, but yeah. So round two, I thought one of Zombie's best rounds, one of the least controversial rounds of the fight. I thought round two was all Zombie. He outstruck him on the feet, and then he got on his back, and he got the ground and pound. Just check box. Not enough damage for a 10-8, but I thought
but
least
won all phases of the round.
Fight. Yeah.
Just not a bunch of damage, but definitely won all phases of the round.
All right, yeah. So we both had a 19-19 going into round three. So now round three, super, interesting to talk about how we score it on the scorecards because round three, so both last night and this morning, I had it round three to Korean Zombie, but
yeah, me too.
So last night when I watched it, there was no sound, so I didn't hear any of the commentators like 10-8 talk, and to be honest, I didn't even consider it. That's
what I was alluding to just a minute ago. Is I feel like they were being disrespectful last night.
And so then I watched it this morning with the sound on, and I was like, oh, I guess I have to ask Harrison if he thought it was a 10-8 because
I didn't think it was even close.
Up to that point, I didn't think it was close either. All right, so we're in lockstep here. So we had a 10-9. For Zombie, so we had a 29-28 Zombie after three, but yeah, neither of us had a 10-8. The commentators and some of the judges had that round as a 10-8.
But then as well, they're talking about the 10-8, and they're also acting like that round one wasn't close and couldn't have been Ige's round. Like they were seriously talking about like that's pretty much the third round in the bank for Zombie, and he's looking even more impressive doing it. It's like, I disagree. Don't see it that way. Yeah.
That's why I said I was going to come out spicy because, the narrative wasn't driving with me, especially watching the fight twice and even kind of checking my own first perception. But maybe it was one of those fights that when you watch it live or maybe it does take that second time to see how close it really was. Some fights are like that.
For sure.
But it was a competitive fight. Now, they were kind of spinning it that it wasn't that competitive. I feel you. Now, let's talk about why they thought it was a 10-8. It was because, let's keep it real. Korean Zombie had Ige's back. The vast majority of the round. But he wasn't really threatening subs. Ige's hand fighting was phenomenal. The hands never even really got around the neck. He kept peeling them off.
I wanted Zombie to do more damage from that point. It was like, quit fighting for the sub you clearly can't get and just start going for this damage. Control an arm and start raining in some hammer fists.
Better than I could have put it, my friend. I was literally about to say that. But, yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, that was perfect. So it was like kind of failed sub attempts and not a lot of damage. No, I said definitely enough to get you the round, having his back.
Right. Oh, yeah, but that was never going to be a 10-8 for me.
Yeah, I feel it. So yeah, we're in agreement there. And round four, I guess, is probably my spiciest take. Last night I didn't even really think twice about it. This was like the biggest change for me watching it again. Like I said, I watched it sober, second time with the sound on. Which the sound on is kind of irrelevant because, like I said, the commentating was for Zombie. I thought that by not even close, like by a lot, Ige landed the way more impactful strikes in round four. Now, you know, Zombie had the late takedown, but once again, didn't do a ton with it. And once again, Ige's kind of grappling defense didn't allow. It wasn't that Zombie wasn't trying to do. Ige's defense on the ground didn't really allow Zombie to be effective. And once again, it kind of reminds me of I forget what fight we're talking about, but or the Olympic fights were like the late round. No, it wasn't that late in the round, but like the late takedown in round four for Zombie wasn't enough to kind of like I. If you're telling me, would you rather give me Dan Ige's absolute bombs that he landed, and we got to keep the context that Dynamite Dan Ige, like he's known for like those bombs can end
Yeah.
fights.
But you also got to keep the context of Korean Zombie can eat shots.
Can eat shots. Fair. But in this example I'm giving is like, or I mean, to me, if you give Zombie round four, it's because you like the last minute of ground control where he didn't really do much with it. And it's like, I'll take Ige's bombs. Like maybe that's subjective. Like I said, I feel pretty good about it. Like that's kind of my like spicy take I want to put my name on is I gave round four to Ige 10-9. It was a close round, and I'm not saying it's inconceivable that anybody would give it to Zombie, but I think watching that fight again, I think the public needs to watch the round four again. I really do.
I wouldn't mind going back and rewatching it myself because I did give it to Zombie because I really didn't put as much respect on Danny Gay's shots only because I was like, well, it's Korean Zombie. Like, you're not going to sleep him.
They were big shots, man, and they were like, and I'm not gonna.
But I felt like also I also
like,
felt like Zombie kind of directed where they fought at too because he was able to get the takedown and he was also kind of pressing the action to eat those shots.
I feel it. That takedown, and then maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that takedown took place in like the fourth minute of the round, bro. Like it was.
It was like
round.
Right out. Like it was like 3:45. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But that first 3/4 of the round, Dan Ige was landing shots. There's a reason why Zombie wanted that fight on the ground. I don't know. So that's kind of like I said. That's my spicy take of the day. I like Ige in four. Now, close round. I understand. Zombie ended on top. It was a bad optic, but I think rewatching that round, man. Like if you made a highlight reel of that round, it's a lot of Ige, man. It's a lot of Ige.
So how did you score round five then?
No, round five, well, it eventually proves all that talk to kind of be irrelevant because I did score round five to Zombie. But
okay.
Now, I want to say this, though, and it's going to sound like I'm taking away from Zombie. I thought Ige beat himself by deciding to shoot set halfway.
Was that not the weirdest thing?
That was the dumbest shot attempt. And I agree with that both. I was going crazy at the bar. I stood up. I was like, Ige, why would you shoot?
I was so confused. Was he like?
I was like, he just lost the fight. I was saying it.
Was he gassed? I couldn't understand why he did it.
I think if he keeps the distance and keeps landing them same bombs he was landing in round four, he could have maybe, I'm not saying guaranteed, but he could have won that fight. He could have got the finish. Now it's Zombie. I get it. He eats shots. I think I thought that it was about halfway into the fifth round.
It was so weird.
Tried to press him up against the cage and turn into Kamaru Usman all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I was like, this is exactly where the Korean Zombie wants this fight to be right now.
Like that's the move Zombie should have done to just get to survive the fight. Like it was counterintuitive. Like
it made no sense.
I was like kind of mad. No, like I said, I was like I had Zombie picked, but I don't like seeing like fighters make like those type of decisions. Now, on most people's scorecards, it wouldn't have mattered. On mine and one other judge, it mattered a whole lot.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a 48-47, and then there were two 49-46s. Yeah, which I had a 49-46. You make a good case for a 48-47. Like round four was, I can definitely see now the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, Zombie really didn't do anything with any of the ground control he got last night.
He didn't. He was super and it wasn't just that he didn't do anything. It was that Dan Ige
defended what he was doing.
So good, man.
But he couldn't defend himself from being on the ground.
No, and he wasn't getting up the same he was in round one. So it's like I get it. I'm not saying I can't see where you're coming from, but I don't know. I think those shots Ige landed in round four were underrated. So Korean Zombie gets the win, and like I said, I mean, puts him in a weird spot, but I think the spot gets a lot less weird with some recent headlines we've gotten. But I'll let you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I feel like 48-47 when I heard it, I had no problem with it, right? Because I was like, oh, okay, he gave him round 4. But then it did make me think, like, man, Ige's pretty damn close to winning that fight.
If Ige keeps it a brawl in round 5 and doesn't
Yeah,
take those god awful shots,
and even more to the point, if he did that by like one FC rules, if they kept it standing the whole 5th round, I probably would have said Ige was the winner.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like round 4 and 5, Korean Zombie striking looked like shit.
I didn't know. Yeah, but then that's why he resorted to grappling. It was crazy.
And but non-threatening grappling, non-dangerous grappling, just kind of control grappling, which I get it. People win rounds from control grappling, like it happens. But it
was like point fighting almost, is what we were having to watch. It was weird.
Yeah. And then speaking of point fighting, I said I was at Point Muay Thai yesterday. That was literally like the name of this point. And I literally hearing a referee tell grown men to not hit each other so hard, I literally had to control every fuck. I was like, let him fight.
Damn, he's telling them don't hate each other so hard.
Oh yeah, he was like, take it down a notch, fellas, because it was point fighting. You really weren't supposed to It was kind of like how you see on these Jake Paul fights, like the no knockout. Well, no, not the Jake Paul, but the Mike Tyson, Holyfield, I think fight. There was
yeah.
It was like those kind of rules set. But like I said, I watched somebody go to sleep from a spinning wheel kick, and it was so subjective. Like they would let certain guys be aggressive and certain ones they wouldn't, but I wasn't a fan of it. But anyway, speaking of point fighting, but yeah, I think, like I said, so Chan Sung Jung won. I'm actually not upset with the decision. Like I said, I can nitpick a point here, a point there, but the right man won. But like I said, I think he won because of Dan Igue's poor decisions in the 5th round. Now, the fallout from this is massive. Like I said, this fight had huge implications. Now, up 2 weeks ago, even with the win, I think Korean Zombie would have found himself in a super awkward, outside looking in situation. And I say this because Ortega, the belt is being fought for in September, 2 months from now, with Ortega and Volkanovski. The people, we all want to see Max and Volkanovski run it back. And I think Max has essentially the Six Flags fast pass over everybody else in the division after Ortega. He pretty much is next in line. It's unofficially, I think all MMA fans would pretty much agree with that. I think he would agree with that. I think Dana would agree with that. And then that Yair, I forgot Yair Rodriguez was ranked 3, and then Zombie was at 4. Now Yair,
you got some creepers at 5 and 6 though.
Who we got at 5 and 6?
Cater and Zabit, right?
Cater and Emmett.
Where's Zabit?
I think he lost his ranking from inactivity, and I think I read an article saying that he's going to be he had some kind of disease or kidney problem, or he's out.
Fuck, man! I want to see that hormone monster get back in the ring.
Yeah, he's not in the top 5, or he's not in the top 15 at all.
I guess he just holds my headspace.
Now Korean Zombie. Anyway, so Yair. So what I'm saying is Yair was booked against Holloway, but Holloway just had to pull out.
So you just want to throw Chan Sung Jung in there?
Zombie Yair? I mean, Yair hasn't fought in a cool minute.
Wait.
He didn't take a ton of damage.
They fought.
They already fought.
That's the knockout where Yair hits him with the up elbow underneath.
Yeah. So did they run that back? Oh, the only reason why I'm saying it is because if Holloway didn't have to pull out of this fight, I wouldn't even have said that. But I'm just saying,
they should run that back actually, because that was Zombie's.
Jam.
But that's Zombie's first fight back in the UFC when they did that because that was the 25th year anniversary. Okay. So whatever, 17. So, but that was when he got back from his 2 years of Korean medical or military. Yeah, so it's for him, he's like, and he caught me at the very end of the fight. So for him, he's like, well, I'm sure he would love to run that back.
Well, and honestly, the whole talk, because am I tripping a Korean Zombie? No, that was Cater that fought Ige. You could do Cater Korean Zombie.
Yeah, that'd be fun too.
That would be fun.
I think Cater'd piece him up though.
But Cater's coming off a loss. I don't know, but I mean that's the top end of the featherweight division is almost as weird as the top end of the bantamweight division. There's just this weird logjam, these kind of unofficial, unwritten rematches.
Well, it's
These
three-way. It's three-way title shots essentially is what we're talking about
essentially,
in both those
yeah, in
divisions.
both of those divisions. So I guess I'll leave it. We can kind of end it on this, like, or actually, there's one thing I want to get to. But what do you do? Do you like the year the zombie rematch? Like, I mean, because I mean, Holloway, Ortega, Volkanovski, that's like a separate bracket almost, right? And then you got Korean Zombie and Yair just fucking right here on the outside looking in.
Yeah, you pretty much got to give you a year. You have to give him Zombie. The reason being
Because
is
Holloway
because
got hurt. I mean, because they had that
yeah,
fight
well,
booked.
yeah, but even still, like a year and a half ago, Yair was scheduled to fight Zabit, and then that fight fell through twice, and that's why Zabit's been so inactive now. I'm sure is because that was what they were trying to book for forever, and now he has, I guess, a medical problem.
Yeah.
And then it's like for Yair, well, they're like, okay, then you get Holloway, like you get the next guy up. Well, if Holloway can't fight, then you have to give him the best possible replacement. Because if you're going to give him Zabit and you're going to give him Holloway, you can't give him a guy that's like 8 or 9 or 10. That's just not fair to that guy.
Yeah, for sure,
And,
man.
and I feel like Yair needs to earn that number beside his name because I don't really think of him at 145 like that.
Now you know who's lobbying on Twitter and what fighters trying to step up to save that card, which
Josh
I'm not
Emmett,
at. No, Giga Chikadze.
I
He
would
was
love that.
that would be fun. He was like, Daniel, let me save the card.
The Giga kick versus Yair's kicks, that'd be sick.
That would be badass. That'd be like a
That'd be
fucking
sick.
like a kung fu movie. That would be
Yeah.
fucking epic. That'd be so fun. Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. But they said rankings wise, the Korean Zombie matchup makes a little more sense. But what I think would be more fun to watch, give me Giga. Fuck it.
Where's Giga ranked at? Like
10.
10?
So,
I
it's
mean,
top 10.
funny that I say that I was like, it's not fair to give 8, 9, or 10 that guy whenever you had him slated to fight 2 and 4.
There's not
Yeah.
a single striker that
Well,
Giga
and
is
the
like
styles.
outclassed by.
Yeah, the styles right there would be so much fun because neither guy is going to want to grapple.